Welcome back, Fireside Faithful. We're here
What's up?
again.
What's up?
We're here again. Recording Tuesday. Today is February 25th. So a lot of games just happened for game week 27. What were the results so far? I think we had
Brighton won again.
Brighton won, Wolves won,
Crystal Palace looks unbelievable.
Chelsea won. I think those were the 4 games of the day.
Correct.
So some good stuff already happening. We want to say thank you to all our new subs out there. I think we got 5 new subs this week. That's big for us. 5 is big for us. We appreciate all of you, anyone who watches, all 50 views that we get. We love all 50 of those views. I love every single one of them.
That means you love my view.
I do love your view.
Not
I
always.
love my view too. So, no big deal. How you guys doing today though?
Yeah, pretty good.
Pretty good?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Good.
Squad.
The GOAT.
Oh, yeah.
Ronaldo.
CU scored today.
Phew.
He also got a PK against him, and he gave it to Sadio Mane because he's one of the greatest teammates ever in the history of this sport. So I'm
That
happy.
checks out.
Tell me
Yep.
more. Tell me more.
Yep.
I love that. Today, since, as we mentioned, we are recording on Tuesday, Game Week 27's already started, we're going to focus on a couple of teams, the teams who have the best schedules left to end the season. We want to talk about who those teams are, the players we're interested in, and, we'll just take it from there, I think. So just to level set, the 3 teams, and, a lot of this is based on the fact that they are good, right? So their schedules are easier than other teams. I think we got Man City at 1, then Liverpool at 2, Arsenal at 3. Those seem to be the agreed upon 3 best schedules left for FPL. So we'll start with you, Phil. We'll start with Man City, and tell us, what do you think we got going on to end the season? Who's good, who's bad?
Manchester City, to level set with them, who the hell knows what's going on with this team?
No idea.
They kind of recovered form there for a bit, then got crushed by Madrid in the Champions League, played Liverpool last weekend. People are saying, no, City dominated, had some chances. No, they played right into Slot's trap. Slot wanted to give them the ball. Liverpool knew they weren't going to cause any real danger, and they knew with spaces Liverpool was going to crush them. So City didn't really look that dangerous against them either. So they've kind of been up and down, but it's still Manchester City. If Haaland comes back and he's in good form again, I think they could be a dangerous team again. And when we look at their fixtures, this is the big thing. Obviously, this week when this comes out, they already have been playing Spurs, and then they have Forest away. But then we're talking about Brighton, Leicester at home, United and Palace, and teams like Southampton and Wolves, right? So their fixture run is absolutely amazing. Chances for clean sheets, chances for some of the offensive players to get a haul. So I think they are a team, and they also have the potential of double game weeks on game week 33 and 36. Nothing of that's been confirmed. I think that comes out game week 30 or 31. We'll know that, but they have 2 chances at a double game week. So their fixture opportunity plus that double game week, I think they're obviously the top team you can look at for that fixture run. Kind of diving into some of their players, I kind of thought about in 3 different tiers. You have the cheap options. Mm-hmm. You have kind of the riskier middle-priced option, and then obviously you have Erling Haaland, right?
Yeah.
So for the cheaper options, you have Gavardol. He is the second most dangerous defender in FPL, right behind Munoz from Crystal Palace. I believe.
Is that accurate? Is that your opinion?
No, that's accurate.
Okay, I'm just making sure.
Yeah, his underlying numbers are right up there.
We love Munoz. I was just making sure that wasn't a Fireside.
It's like him, Munoz, and
opinion.
Trent are like the
Munoz
big.
expected goals is over 4, and then right under 4 it's Gavardol.
Good for
so
him.
He's in terms of dangerous. I'm not saying FPL points or goals for or assists. Just him creating the danger, and you can see it when you watch City. He's always in the most dangerous position and consistently on the ball.
He gets on the ball in the box a lot.
I think he's what we hoped Rico Lewis would be.
Yes, precisely.
That's fair.
And when you look at a player on a top team, let's call them like the defensive studs, right? If you're looking at Gabriel, Saliba, Van Dijk, Trent, he is the cheaper option out of all of them. He's $5.9 million, so he's not going to break the bank. You're going to have leftover cash to bring in someone else. But the thing that's been missing for him and why he's not up there in the top defenders in terms of FPL points is the clean sheets. He's just not getting clean sheets, right? So when we look at this fixture run, I do see multiple opportunities for City if they continue to like bring it together for this last stretch. They need to figure it out if they want to get into the Champions League. I do see opportunities for clean sheets, and he's just a guy that's going to keep producing offensively. So I think that combination makes him a really good option, good pickup, and a dangerous guy moving forward.
Side question: is Champions League? I know top 4. Can 5 teams technically make it this year?
Mm-hmm. It's probably going to be 5 Premier League teams.
Thought, right? Okay, just wanted to confirm. They're in 4th right now. Actually, they just dropped out because Chelsea won, so we'll see what happens tomorrow. Like you said, against Tottenham. I think they're probably in 5th technically right now. So, but keep going.
No, that's a great call out. My other cheap option was Savinho. I mean, everyone's kind of talked about him lately.
Yeah.
My only problem with him is last time when everyone brought him in, he didn't play for 2 games.
Yeah.
So it's just that rotation risk. But when we look at his expected minutes and kind of his minutes over the last 3 game weeks, he played all 90 against the tough opponents. He had 2 assists in 2 of them. So as long as he's consistent in that starting 11, and Guardiola does seem to like him as of late in the Premier League, I think he's a great cheap option who could produce a lot of returns for you.
I feel like his minutes might stabilize, or some of their minutes might, because they're out of the Champions League.
Yeah, that's a big point.
So
are they still in the FA Cup?
And they're not.
No, yeah. So they're just focused on.
Hopefully, like you said, he keeps up this run of starting every game.
Yeah.
Did we know? Like I didn't know. I'm asking. Did you 2 know how fast he was before? I didn't realize because I watched that game against
Girona
Newcastle,
yeah.
and I was gonna say maybe Hall's also not super fast. Watching him just be like, "All right, see you, buddy," zink, and just gone. I was like, "Holy crap!"
Yep.
He quick.
We said it, or I said it probably a month and a half ago. Last year on Girona, the Girona coach said the first practice with Savinho before the season started. He said we're going to finish in the Champions League because of Savinho.
Yeah, you mentioned.
And
that.
They had the best season of their history.
They sure did.
Pretty cool.
So those are 2, I think, cheaper options that you can easily fit in your team, especially if you're someone that looks at fixtures to kind of pick up these differential players. Now, moving on to more risky, slightly more expensive, the risk coming because of the expense, is Marmoush and Foden. I think Foden, everyone knows he's a golden child for that club, EPL Player of the Year last year. He has 8 returns in the last 7 games, 6 of them being goals. Okay. He's in form. He's great. You can see, I think I saw it against Madrid, you could see the pain of losing and how they were playing. So he feels it, and I think Guardiola is going to respect that too, and he's kind of going to be a core piece for them moving forward. So I don't really see any risk with his minutes, and he's one of the more in-form guys. So I know he's over the $9 million price tag, so there's a bit of risk there, and it might force you to move off of Palmer if you want to bring him in.
That's the key. You could probably do that now. A week before this.
Yeah,
I'd be like, we talked about it. Like, meh, I kind of like Palmer's schedule coming up, but now it's like, again, Palmer blank today on a Tuesday. I'm all for bringing a Foden in for a Palmer at this point. Like, no worries at this point.
The other thing I like about Foden is he's gone 2-3-2 in points the last 3 games, but they just ran through their Chelsea, Arsenal, Newcastle, Liverpool run of their schedule. So he's only 6% owned, and hopefully this little 3-game stretch here where they had some tough opponents and he didn't really give you any returns, kind of keeps his ownership down.
Yeah.
So I, as someone that is thinking about Phil Foden for their own team, I kind of like that because.
Thanks, Dave.
I think once their schedule turns good,
it means a lot.
Yeah, I think they're gonna look more like City because clearly against the better teams have exposed them and their flaws, but. Like we said, they don't really have many concerns left on their schedule till the end of the year after Forest next week.
I like Phil Foden,
or 2 weeks
but
from now.
I prefer Phil Charnley. So.
Same.
I saw you guys getting a little fist bump. I wanted to get in the love.
Yeah,
so.
you're good. If you don't have that $9.3 million, the other option that's kind of his copy, but just at a lower tier, is Marmoush. I think watching him last weekend, obviously against Newcastle, and again, I keep referencing the Champions League game, he actually looks so fast, so intense on the ball, and his skills there. I mean, that free kick, the way he kicked that against Madrid, obviously didn't get the goal, but you just see he has it all to become a top player. So I do think Marmoush around the $7 million price tag is a really good option. Again, he kind of falls on the Savinho. Has he consolidated himself as a clear starter? If yes, he honestly might be the best option, given how much he's on the ball, and especially against these weaker teams, City's going to have more of the ball near the box. But again, it's just hard to know right now. So probably after the Spurs game from this week and Forest, because Forest away isn't going to be an easy, like a cakewalk or whatever that expression is.
Yep.
It might be a good tell for Savinho and Marmoush if they're going to be like a 80 to 90 minute player. And if they are, I think Marmoush might be the clear winner.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think we said it last week, or at least I said it. I think they figured out their best like front six, and I think Marmoush and Savinho and Foden are all in it.
Yeah.
So I am gonna say that I think him and Savio are gonna get pretty consistent minutes.
I
the
hope
rest
so.
of the year.
They're fun to watch, and I think they're what City need right now. They bring a
Dynamism.
Whatever you think.
Dynamite.
Is right,
Dynamitism.
They bring dynamism
Dynamitism.
to the team.
Hey, we say it every week. English, hard language.
Hard language.
Hard language.
Who the hell puts so many D words together?
I know, it's ridiculous.
But the last guy for City is obviously Erling Haaland. Not much to say about him. Everyone knows what he's capable of. He's coming off a knock. Is he going to recover the form he had kind of previous weeks? That's the big question mark. If he does, he's still not like a clear buy because his numbers over the last 7-8 games before like his injury weren't fantastic either for 14 million. So there's still going to be a risk there. He's probably a guy that if he doesn't get 2 returns a game, you're going to feel like you've been gypped out. And he hasn't been getting 2 returns a game, even though he had a stretch of scoring. I think it was also 6 goals and 2 assists over a 7-game stretch. I don't think those numbers are that great still for 14 million. So he's kind of a question mark. I wouldn't buy him right away. See what he comes back like, and then if he picks up his form, City starting to look again. Obviously, he is going to get the opportunity to score multiple goals a game. Easy captain choice, especially with the fixtures.
I like it. All right.
I don't disagree with you. But
Yeah. All right.
him and Foden are the two guys I'm looking at. If Haaland was healthy, I was trying to figure out a way to get him into my team because of all the stuff I said last week. But
Yeah.
he'd be who I was looking at if you had to make up ground because his ownership is, I mean, it's still at 25%, but that's continues to go down from where it was.
I would imagine a lot of that ownership are dead teams too. People that had him at the beginning of the season and haven't.
Potentially.
Yeah.
Potentially.
Yeah. Stop
But
playing.
got to make
Stop
sure he's
playing.
healthy first.
Yeah.
All right. Sweet. Man City. Check. That's number
Check.
1. Number 2, Liverpool. They seem to have an agreed upon second best FPL schedule to end the season. So, Dave, let us know your thoughts. And we'll tell you where you're wrong because inevitably it's just
I usually am.
always wrong.
you're going to be wrong.
But I think Liverpool's kind of weird because they're the best team in the league. They have the most goals in the league, and I would expect there to be like a bunch of pieces that are usable on their team. Like they have quality in every position, but then you look at their team and like save for like a pocket at the start of the season and like a spurt here or there. There's pretty much like 3 or 4 guys that have been usable, and going forward, I think there's like 3 people I want. And that's pretty much it. Like they lead the Premier League in goals, but it's like all one person.
He's good.
And,
the king.
And so what I mean like by that is like if you go by position, like if we start with the midfielders, like there's not a lot to say on Mo Salah. It's like get Mo, keep Mo. He's 72% owned. I looked earlier today, so like
I can't believe he's not even more percent.
yeah, if your team's good
crazy.
or like you're still
72%, yeah.
like you're competitive at this point of the season, he's probably already on your team.
Yeah.
But if he's not, like go get him. Obviously, figure out what you're going to do around the blank in game week 29. Either hold him through it or have a strategy to get him right back afterwards. Especially if you're wild carding, it's easy to do that. But like, I don't really want any of their other midfielders. Like Luis Diaz started off the year 5 goals in 5 games.
Yeah.
Since then, he has 4 goals in 22 games. And in those 22 games, he's only had 5 games where he scored more than 3 points. So to me, you can't pay, what is he, 7-something million? He's not. It's not worth it.
He also hasn't played 90 minutes since game week 24.
Yeah, we've talked about their squad rotation. Cody Gakpo, he didn't score for an eternity at the start of the year. Then he scored a bunch of goals over like a 7 or 8 week span. Everybody bought him. And then, oh, look, he turned back into a pumpkin.
7 points in 4 games.
We fell into that one.
Yeah, we did.
Dominic Szoboszlai, I love watching him. Same with Alexis McAllister, but they're not really usable fantasy pieces. Same, obviously, with like Jones, Gravenberch, Andrew Robertson. The only guy that I was interested in him earlier in the year is Diogo Jota. If he would ever get fit and reclaim his spot regularly in the starting 11, because I still stand by it that he's the best fit for them up front, he would be somebody I would want. But it just feels like with his injuries and, again, their compressed schedule and squad rotation, that the chances of him like regularly starting games is pretty low.
Yeah. Plus, they've almost guaranteed that they're going to win the EPL. So why risk a guy's injury when you really probably don't need him? What are they up by? 9-10 points at this point on Arsenal?
It's a lot.
Something in that range?
11.
Yeah.
And then their forwards, like, I don't think you want Darwin Nunez. If the field suddenly became a boat and the goal became the ocean, I still don't think he would hit it.
There's this hilarious Instagram account I
Yeah.
follow, not to sidetrack. It's this guy who, like, he'll take players who missed a net and he'll say, how big does the net have to be for this guy to score? And I just watched one with...
Was it De Bruyne?
No,
De Bruyne
no,
shot?
I was... Yeah, but I was just referencing that I've seen it with him on there.
Yeah.
It's like the net just has to be like the whole baseline for him to score sometime. It's
But
hilarious.
I love that.
Their defenders, like Van Dijk and Trent, have been usable all year. Trent is, he's the premium option on defense. He's over $7 million in price. I think he's worth it. He's the number 1 defender by a pretty wide margin. You might have issues fitting him into your team if you have Mo Salah and maybe like another expensive option like Palmer or Phil Foden. So if you can't get him into your team, Van Dijk is 22% owned and Ibrahima Konate is 7% owned. And I don't think that should be the case. Konate and Van Dijk are useful defenders because of the same reason. It's that Liverpool can get clean sheets, right? They both have 1 goal on the year. And if you go and look at their numbers on a per 90-minute basis, because obviously Konate missed a bunch of time earlier in the year, they're like almost identical, which I didn't realize. Like XFPL per 90 minutes, Van Dijk's at 409, Konate's at 410. Points per 90, Van Dijk's 367, Konate 388. They're both at .06 expected goals per 90. So they're like the same guy.
Yeah.
And so to me, I don't see any reason to pay the extra money for Van Dijk. So if you want a Liverpool defender on your team after the blank game week 29, you can't afford Trent. Maybe you had Van Dijk now, and he's like, I want a Liverpool guy. They're one of the best defensive teams in the league. They're going to get some clean sheets. If you can't afford Trent, I don't see any reason to roster Van Dijk over Konate. Like, I get that Van Dijk's one of the best defenders in the world,
Doesn't matter.
They're the same guy per 90 minutes when they're on the field.
Yeah, we're talking
So,
FPL. I don't really
yeah.
care about real life
In
at that point.
FPL terms, I don't see any reason to roster Van Dijk over Konate.
I was going to say, I tweeted that the other day. There's no world where you should have Van Dijk over Konate if Konate's healthy.
Yeah,
That's
and he
been
has
his
been.
only question mark. But if he's playing 90 minutes, it's insane to have Van Dijk over him. You're just wasting money, basically.
Yeah,
Fact check me. I don't know if I tweeted that.
I agree. I think everyone else, until further notice, those are the guys. Salah, duh. And then one of the defenders. Allison is obviously a good goalkeeper option, but he's the max price for goalies. And I just think there's other guys that are cheaper, that can give you some more financial flexibility, again, especially if you have Salah, Haaland, Foden, Palmer in your team.
All right, well, let me point a question before we move on to the next team. You talked Gavardio. You talked Trent Alexander-Arnold, two of the better fullbacks in FPL. Obviously, Trent's more expensive. Which one would you guys take? If you had to choose between the two, let's say money is an option, right? Take money into account. Which one would you rather have to end this season?
Trent.
Yeah, I think if you
both
can
on Trent?
if you
Yeah.
can
I think
fit
so.
Trent in, there's
If you can fit him in, that's
Yeah,
the question.
much higher chance of offensive return and clean sheet.
Yeah. All right. That
I think
makes
there's
sense.
enough cheap guys at at all positions that you can
Yeah.
make it
You
happen.
can make it work.
I think the one thing I want to go back to is kind of the midfields and forwards, and you hit the nail on the head with it, is, the Zabaslai, McAllister, Gakpo, Jota, Darwin, there are going to be game weeks where they're going to get 2 goals or an assist or whatever, and they're going to look like great options.
Szoboszlai right now.
Yeah, exactly. He looks amazing, like the second biggest threat on Liverpool. But over a stretch of weeks, none of them are consistently going to produce for you. So it's almost like don't fall into that trap when you see 1 or 2 game weeks in a row where one of them's in form. The clear answer is Salon. There's really no second option for their attack. So I thought you were spot on with that.
Yeah, agreed. Salah, I'm sure everyone out there knows it by now. We've talked about it. He's right now on record pace to have the best season ever in the EPL. And I said a couple days ago, I didn't see a lot of media talking about it. Well, since I said that, every other post I get on Instagram is just how Salah is now on pace to break that record.
Do you think you started that kind of media train?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I dropped a Woj bomb, I think. If you know what a Woj bomb is.
I do.
What
You
is
do.
that?
Remember the guy from the NBA that just retired, but he always dropped the big trades? Wojnarowski?
No.
Okay, well, every trade you've ever heard
I
of
only
that was
follow
big,
football.
Every trade you ever heard of that was big in the NBA, he dropped it. He's actually giving out, or he's auctioning off his old iPhones where he used to give out the updates to make money for St. Bonaventure where he went to school. That's like the thing right now. He's auctioning those phones to raise money for NIL.
What a stud.
But that's
Anyway.
besides the point. So, Man City number 1, Liverpool number 2. Now we're on to what everyone agrees on as the third best schedule to end the season.
The team with no forwards.
Team with no forwards, Arsenal. Yeah, and there's going to be some similarities here to what you just said, Dave, in the fact that you have a team that's so good, but frankly, you don't have that many options when it comes to an FPL perspective. So when you're looking at the team, like I said, well, actually, let me level set. So again, we know schedule really easy. Injuries, Saka, he should be coming back. Him and Martinelli should be coming back early April. Havertz out for the season. So those are 3 huge injuries for that team, right? That's why a lot of this is so up in the air right now. But when you look at the team as a whole from a points perspective, Saka still leads. 107 points. Pretty impressive because he's missed 11 of the 27 games for Arsenal this season. So credit to him. After him, if we're talking offensive assets, after him you have to go down to Havertz, who's the second highest offensive asset at 96 points. He's also missed 6 games in his own right. After him, to get to the third best offensive asset, you're at Trossard, 93 points. I say that to say that Arsenal offensive assets are not great right now. There's really not a lot of options. There's not a lot of guys that are super interesting, so I'm going to start with them because that's probably the easier part of this conversation is starting with the offensive piece. So when I look at players I definitely don't want Odegaard. Odegaard is getting involved. This is my opinion, by the way, but he's getting involved, but there's no final product right now. They have no stars up front to finish anything that he's feeding in there. He's 8.2 million. That's way too expensive for a guy that won't be getting assists and frankly doesn't create his own goals. I'm out on Odegaard. Rice, pretty much the same thing here. There's not enough offense or star power up front for him to get anything out of his balls he's playing in. The only saving grace for him is he is cheaper at 6.2 million. But again, I'm just not interested. They're going to need to rely on people to score goals for them. We don't know if that's going to happen right now until Saka's back. So right now, not interested in those guys. In reality, to me, there's 3 decent options until Saka returns in April, assuming he becomes fully fit. Obviously, you want Saka. That's the guy. But for the time being, I have 3 options on offense I'm interested in. In order, I got Marino. Since game week 20, he has 23 points. Really not that impressive. I'm also not sold on him by any stretch. But he's a 6 million mid playing center forward. Question is, will it continue? I have no idea.
Probably not.
I have
It
no
didn't
idea.
look good against West Ham.
Yeah, exactly. I have no idea. He came in 21 minutes, scored 2 goals against Leicester, then started and played 90 against West Ham. Didn't look good. Expected involvement of 0.38. Not great. Next is, and I may pronounce this name wrong, but Nwaneri. Is that how you say it?
I think you ignore the N. Just one area.
Just Nwaneri.
I
Okay.
think. Someone can tell
So
us.
Nwaneri, very similar situation.
Comment.
Yeah. Let us know in the comments. Tell me that I'm wrong.
I've been mispronouncing Brian and Bumo all year, so
Yeah, that's true. But you do it on purpose. It's rude.
at this point, yes.
Rude. So Nwaneri, similar to Marino, sits game week 20, 24 points. Also not impressive. But similar to him, similar to Moreno, he is cheap. He's actually a lot cheaper. He's also a midfielder who plays forward, but he only costs 4.6 million. Again, not sold on him minutes wise, production wise. Don't really know where he's going to be playing going forward. These two players, very similar shots, shots on target, assists, attempted assists since week 20. Big difference for me. Marino's expected goals 1.7 to Nwaneri's 0.75. So that's the big difference for me on that one. Third guy, I'm pretty sure you guys, I'll let you guess. Who do you think the third one is for me?
Wait, give me a second. I think you want Miles Lewis Skelly.
Absolutely not.
I was so sure.
It's Trossard. All right. Underlying, he has the best underlying stats of the three on the season. You're not even funny. God, you were supposed to actually get it right.
I knew the answer.
He had it up on his screen.
Unbelievable. Best underlying stats of those three on the season and since week 20. He actually has 18 shots on net since week 20, which is pretty good. Only 5 of those are on target, though. 1 goal, 3 assists. Expected goals and expected assists per 90 are pretty weak, though. 0.16 and 0.08. Moral of the story is I don't really want any of those guys.
Nope.
But I wanted to give an opinion on some guys that are
Nice.
interesting. But I don't really want any of the Arsenal offensive assets right now. Reason I would lean Marino and Nwaneri 1 and 2 here over Trossard is 1, the mid to forward factor. We always talk about how we like that. Midfielder getting a chance to play forward on top of the fact that there's an unknown here. Okay, we know what Trossard is. He's got a very low floor. He's got a pretty low ceiling right now. We know what we're going to get. At least with these two other guys, depending on how Arsenal changes it up, how they gel, one of those two might actually turn out to be decent. I don't have high hopes right now, but at least there's potential. I mean, I don't know. What do you guys think? Of those three, if you were to say I have to take one of those three for the next 7 game weeks, which one of those three do
I'd
you
quit FPL.
want? Okay.
I would.
Would you also quit?
I'd want to. I think I would just take Nwaneri.
Yeah, that'd be my guy, too.
You guys are like,
I agree that Trossard is probably, like, of the 4 guys you said, like, who's going to have the most points the rest of the year. He is probably the favorite, but he's 6.9 million.
Yeah.
At least with Nwaneri, like, he's talented. He's come in and made a difference in multiple games already.
Yeah.
Who knows if it's going to continue, but he's just really cheap. So you can spend the money elsewhere. It's the best I got for you.
all right, fair enough. Now,
We'll just bleep the video from like X minute to Y minute and put
just-
Arsenal forwards suck.
Well, there aren't any, but
this is true.
Fair.
We're just a bunch of
There aren't
guys that
any.
play different positions trying
Yeah.
out forward.
Fair.
Now, assets that people actually care about, which would be the defense and the goalkeeper. 3 defenders that I think are really good. Obviously, Raya is amazing. They all have their own reasons, I think, for why they're relevant in this conversation. But let's start with Raya. 3rd best goalie in FPL point-wise. He has 102. He only trails Sells, who we love, and Pickford, both of whom actually have assists on the year. So big reason why there's even that point gap to begin with. They both have an assist. His main downfall, which Dave mentioned with Allison, he's 5.5 million, so he's on the high end of that goalie price. But his XFPL is the highest in FPL right now. So, I mean, obviously, again, I'm not saying anything most people don't know. He's really, really good. He's played every game this season. He's taken less shots than any other goalie who's played 100% of their games. That's a testament to the defense. He also has the highest save percentage of any goalie who's played 100% of their games. And if you're willing to pay 5.5, it's a no-brainer. Were you going to say something?
when you said he's taken less shots, I was thinking you were saying
he's
like
taking less shots against him.
Yeah, I was like,
sorry, he has fielded less shots.
They might need him to get involved
Yeah.
offensively at this point.
Honestly, you think he could be a striker? You could probably do it.
Give it a shot.
I mean, why not? What do you have to lose? You've already lost first place. Sorry for all the Arsenal fans.
They'll be fine.
Okay,
yeah,
now the two center backs. Both of them are top 5 in points for the team on the season. I don't know this for a fact. I'm going to assume this is the only team in FPL where the two center backs are both in the top 5, like on the team for points.
I would say Trent is probably
Center backs.
center, but
Both center backs are in the top 5 of the team in points. I don't know if I'm not going to look it up, but I don't know if there's another
someone
team
look
that
that
would
up
have
for
That's
us.
an
Yeah, someone
Interesting
check that and
comment.
put it in the comments.
That's an
please.
interesting one.
That's
Right.
Yeah,
Right. So Gabriel and Saliba, these are the two guys. Their difference is 7 points in the season. Gabriel's leading. It's basically splitting hairs on this one. If I'm choosing a guy, I'm choosing Gabriel because he edges Saliba. 3 goals to 2 goals, and he has 2 assists to Gabriel's 0. I think it's the same thing we were just talking about where Phil, I mean, here's the thing. They're both amazing. There's no reason not to take Gabriel. I mean, Gabriel's 6.1 million, Saliba's 6.2 million. Gabriel's the better player FPL-wise right now. So there's really not a lot of reason to go against Gabriel for Saliba. Gabriel has an expected involvement of 0.2. Saliba's got 0.1 per 90 this year. The only reason I would say maybe you want to take Saliba, he's owned 22% to Gabriel's 29%. Small differential. I don't think that's really relevant, if I'm honest. Unless you really trusted Arsenal's defense to get shutouts, maybe you want both of them. But, I mean, both of them are amazing. Gabriel's the guy you should get if you're picking between the two. And then fullbacks, I'm only interested in one of them. You actually brought a name up who's injured, Skelly. Lewis Skelly is injured. The left back position, I have no idea who's playing it.
They've been rotating. It's been
yeah.
a variety there. Ricardo
Tierney.
Calafiore has played there.
Tierney, Calafiore, they're all trying their hand at left back.
he scored that banger against.
That was a
City,
while
I'm pretty
ago.
sure.
I remember
Yeah.
that was the one a while ago. Yeah. So left back, not interested. Get it out. Right back on the other hand, that's Timber. He's pretty much been a staple in that position all season. He's got 81 points on the season. Good, not great. He puts him down with players like Young, Wan-Bissaka. He's right in that range. Goal and assist on the season, cheaper price tag, 5.6 million, so he's cheaper than Saliba and Gabriel. Expected numbers are not very good, so truly to me, he's only worth considering if you actually want to double up on Arsenal defenders. If you think there's a matchup or a bunch of matchups where I'm really playing for shutouts, maybe get Timber and then throw in one of those center backs with him. That would be kind of my only reasoning for it. So that's pretty much all I got, but like as a summary, offensive standpoint, Arsenal 2 up in the air. I think we all agree with that. Until Saka returns, not interested in most of their assets. But if I'm choosing Moreno, Waneri, 1 and 2 for the unknown factor, maybe they can find a way to be the catalyst in the offense where there is not one right now. Trossard 3 because we know low floor, low ceiling. If you want some points, maybe that's your guy. Defensively, Raya, no-brainer. If you're willing to spend 5.5 million, top 3 goalie, you can make an argument he's going to be number 1 by the end of the season. Gabriel and Saliba, very, very good. 2 of the best center backs, razor-thin margins between them. Got to go with Gabriel. It just makes the most sense. He's a little cheaper, and he's the better player. Timber, only fullback I would consider. Slightly cheaper than the center backs if you want a piece of that back line, but you don't want to pay up for the other guys, you can't afford them. Or if you want to double up on Arsenal defenders. And that's pretty much where I'm at with it. Those are the guys. So defense, great. Offense, bad. Thoughts?
I was just going to say, I think the problem with Arsenal, when we've talked through this, is they're in parallel with Liverpool. They just have worse fixtures. So if you're looking at the 5.5 million goalie, why wouldn't you go Allison? If you're looking at that like center back, why wouldn't you go like Konate? Just because their fixtures are a little easier. Maybe you don't want to double up on 2 defensive assets for one team, so maybe that's why you split one way or the other, but I feel like they're very similar. Liverpool just has easier games.
The only counter argument to that is I do agree. The only counter argument is a lot of like what is determined as easy as schedule is who's the better team. We know Liverpool's the better team, but Arsenal's up in the air right now. It's a detriment. It's also a bit of an asset. No one knows how good, if they're really good, if they're not really good. Let's see how they gel. They've had 1 week at it. So I get your point, but what if Arsenal comes out next week and Marino and Nwaneri look really good and then Saka obviously comes back?
Yeah.
You become a different...
I think I'm going more at the stretch after game week 34 where it's like Palace, Bournemouth, Liverpool, and Newcastle. And they could probably get 1 or 2 clean sheets there. But that stretch is the only part that concerns me for someone like Arsenal compared to Liverpool. They don't have as tough of a stretch there. But
no, I hear you on that.
Yeah.
I hear you on that for sure. Okay, so that's all 3.
he wanted to say something.
You want to say
Well,
something?
I was going to wonder,
Wait, am I going to like it?
can we end the show with a trivia question?
We can in the show.
I have a trivia question.
But before we do that, the team that comes closest to the center backs leading point.
Bah.
Oh, is that the trivia
That's
question?
the trivia question.
Oh, well, he knows the answer.
I don't think I know the answer.
Okay.
but-
Oh, it was okay.
All right. Well, Sean said
Ask it.
Arsenal, the only team with 2 center backs in the top 5 in scoring for their
On their team, Crystal Palace.
No.
Oh, I'm out. That was my guess. I thought it was Crystal Palace.
I mean, I was looking at Forest, but they're like 5
Nope.
and 7.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
It's not Crystal Palace with
Nope.
Munoz.
No.
He's
Take
a right
another
back.
guess. Take another guess.
Center backs.
What team?
It's not going to be Bournemouth.
What team has center backs that's scoring goals right now? Other than, was it Liverpool?
Nope.
No, I don't.
It's not United.
Who else could it possibly
Wait.
be?
Well, actually, let me make sure it's not Liverpool. It's not Liverpool.
No, it can't be Liverpool. It has to be both center backs.
If you
it's not
look,
Liverpool. It's
if
not
you
Liverpool.
look at the team, both center backs
In the
have to
top-
be in
in
the
the top
top 5 of their own team in scoring.
You guys are not. You don't. Doesn't seem like you guys are close to getting this.
Yeah, clearly I'm not.
So I'm gonna give you a hint.
Wolves?
No.
Just guess every team at this point. Is it Everton?
I actually didn't check
Guess the
Wolves
bottom
because
of the
I couldn't imagine. No, I don't. No, just no.
Just no.
I'm gonna give you guys a hint. They are managed by a former Man United manager.
Oh my God. Is
No,
it,
Everton?
Everton. It's Everton.
Didn't I just say
Yeah.
Everton?
No.
What did I just say?
You said Palace and Wolves and other.
But then I just said Everton.
Oh,
It's going to be because one's Mikolenko.
I was listening to Phil. I wasn't.
Come
listening
on,
to
I
you.
just said
Yeah,
Everton.
Pickford is number 1, then
Oh.
Tarkowski, then Young, Michaelenko, and Endai. Those are their top
For
5.
the record, just so everyone sees it out there, I got that on my 3rd guess. That counts.
I didn't hear it.
Everyone gets 3 chances. That was the rule.
Pixar, it didn't happen.
Well, we have a video, so hopefully I'm not BSing right now because that would be awkward.
That's wild.
Good trivia question, Dave, even though it was mine. I appreciate you finding that answer for us.
Anytime.
Did you want to mention real quick, are there any, because we didn't talk about the start, week's already started, any big transfers that we should talk about as like a trend going into maybe game week 28?
Yeah, real quick. Cunha is the number 1 guy, over 600,000 people. I've been talking about him. He keeps on cooking. Their schedule's about to improve big time.
Didn't cook today.
They didn't cook today, but it's okay. It's okay.
Wolves cook, though.
Jared Bowen, over 400,000 transfer ins. He's interesting to me. Kind of the only guy I'm interested in for West Ham in their attack. Some of the other, Daniel Munoz, who we love, Karu Matoma. Brighton's been on fire lately. That continued today.
Wow,
Though
Matoma not today.
no return for him. And our boy Beto from Everton, 5 goals in those last 4.
Man knows how to be in the right place at the right time.
There were 2 funny things to me on the transfer outs. Is that Morgan Rogers was the number 1 transferred out player, 650,000 people, which makes sense because he's on a little cold spell. Villa have that double game week, and then he scores today, which makes sense.
Isn't that how FPL works, though?
And then we'll end this with Cole Palmer is on both the transfer in and transfer out list this week, which is like the most Cole Palmer thing because he's incredibly frustrating right now, but he has like the 2 best matchups you could ask for.
Mm-hmm.
But then he also annoys everybody whose team he's on.
And
Shite. He's effing shite.
And he was
here's
also
what's-
bad at they did no returns today against Southampton.
Here's what's going to happen. Again, against Southampton, another goose egg. Everyone's going to move off him next week, and he's going to have a hat trick. It's just what's going to happen. And about 20% of people who kept him, they're going to be looking
It's
super
not going to be
smart.
against Leicester. It's going to be against Arsenal, game week 29, when
honestly,
after everybody
you're gonna
drops
go,
it.
yeah, you're
It's
right.
going to be that game.
You're right.
But
All right.
that's
well,
pretty much it. That's the interesting, fun stuff.
Love it. Love it. All right. Well, we are out of here.
We are.
We'll be back here same time, same place. We'll be looking, back at game week 27, forward to game week 28. And find us anywhere on Instagram, on X,
Twitter.
YouTube, anywhere you find your podcast. Twitter, X, Twitter, same thing. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. We really appreciate it. It's free.
You know what that means? It doesn't cost you any money.
It doesn't cost you anything. Again, we appreciate all the new subscribers we had. Appreciate all of you. Leave us comments on the videos. Let us know what we're doing right. Let us know what we're doing wrong. Just talk to us if you want to talk to us. And with that, see ya.
See ya.
Bye.